Before maps were complete, journeys were legends. 1497. The world is vast, unexplored, and full of danger. No European had ever sailed directly to India. The lure of spices, silks, and unimaginable riches whispered to Portugal's bravest. And now, a fleet of wooden ships would defy the unknown, chasing destiny across the endless ocean. Vasco da Gama. Not just a sailor, but a man with fire in his eyes, driven by ambition, faith, and the promise of fame. Some called him reckless, others called him a visionary. He alone would lead Portugal into the unknown, and perhaps into legend. Fulls of ships as they sailed into a world of monsters, storms, and legends. Each wave a gamble, each horizon a promise or a threat. Along Africa's unknown coasts, sailors whispered of sea monsters, phantom ships, and reefs that swallowed vessels whole. Tales of vanished sailors travelled faster than the fleet, turning fear into a constant companion aboard every ship. Then came the Cape of Storms. Furious winds and jagged rocks threatened to crush the fleet. Currents pulled the unwary toward the abyss. Many believed no ship survived these waters. Every decision here could mean life or death. Storms rose without warning. Rain whipped faces. Lightning split the sky, and the sea roared with unbridled power. Sailors screamed against the wind, clinging to masts, praying the ocean would spare them. Food spoiled. Water ran low. Disease crept silently through the fleet. Sailors fought scurvy and weakness. Yet even as despair grew, da Gama's resolve held the crew together. One mistake could mean total collapse. Nights brought the deepest fear. Darkness hid the horizon. Sailors imagined whirlpools that devoured ships, and monsters beneath the waves. Whispers of ghosts kept even the bravest awake, staring into the black waters. Da Gama navigated by stars and monsoon winds. The astrolabe became their lifeline. One miscalculation, and the fleet could vanish into the vast, merciless ocean. Every glance at the heavens was a fight for survival. Small islands offered fleeting relief. Fresh water, fruit, and soft soil gave the crew moments of hope. But these were brief reprieves. The ocean's wrath loomed just beyond the horizon. Along Africa's coast, traders and villagers watched the fleet with curiosity and caution. Gifts were exchanged, but trust was fragile. Diplomacy began long before India, on these strange shores of the unknown. Isolation and fear created monsters in the imagination. Sailors claimed to see gigantic serpents, phantom whirlpools, even phantom ships trailing the fleet. Reality and myth blurred on the endless waves. The equator brought scorching sun and sudden storms. Decks were sweltering. Waves became unpredictable, yet the crew pressed on. Behind them, the world they knew disappeared. Ahead, the unknown beckoned. After nearly a year at sea, the coastline of India appeared. Hope surged through the crew. But the shores, rich with spices, also held wary rulers, cautious traders, and unknown dangers that could end the voyage before it truly began. Da Gama approached the rulers with respect, bearing gifts and promises. Every word, every gesture was weighed. One wrong move could ignite conflict, ending the journey before it began. The rulers studied these strangers carefully. Every step, every word measured. Spices and silks could sway a deal, but suspicion lingered. Da Gama had to balance courage with caution. Gifts accepted, deals struck. For the first time, Portuguese spices were traded in India. The crew celebrated quietly, knowing danger still loomed, but a foothold had been gained. Word of the Portuguese arrival spread along the coast. Other traders watched with curiosity and caution. Alliances, rivalries, and threats began forming even before the fleet left the harbour. Trade complete, da Gama turned his gaze to the return journey. The Indian Ocean awaited, vast, unpredictable, and unforgiving. Storms and hunger would test them once more. The return voyage brought storms fiercer than before. Waves towered like mountains, lightning split the sky, and sailors clung to ropes, hearts pounding with every crash of the sea. Hunger and fear sparked whispers of mutiny. Some sailors questioned da Gama's leadership. The captain had to quell rebellion with resolve and inspire loyalty amid chaos. Nightfall brought the stars once again. The same celestial bodies that guided them to India now lit the way home. Sailors learned to read constellations, trusting the heavens to steer them through darkness. Supplies dwindled. Fresh water ran out, and food became a desperate ration. Scurvy and illness took their toll. Every day at sea was a fight for life, yet hope persisted. Even amid suffering, sailors marvelled at strange phenomena: phosphorescent waters, giant whales, and distant islands rising from the mist. The ocean remained both enemy and wonder. Returning along Africa, the fleet faced familiar yet terrifying waters. Currents and shoals had not changed, but the crew had grown stronger, wiser, and more wary of the unseen dangers. They passed areas where other ships had vanished decades before. Sailors told tales of ghostly wrecks and phantom voices carried by the wind. Fear was constant, yet courage endured. Fear became a companion, as real as hunger or thirst. Yet amid fear, beauty persisted. Sunsets painted the ocean gold, dolphins played along the hull, and stars reflected in calm waters reminded sailors why they endured the journey. Da Gama led with a steady hand, balancing discipline, compassion, and courage. The fleet survived storms, hunger, and fear because one man refused to let despair rule the deck. The horizon stretched endlessly. Waves seemed to repeat, a rolling grey that tested the crew's sanity. Days blurred into nights. Every glance at the vast ocean reminded them this was uncharted territory, where death could come silently. At night, whispers filled the decks, voices of lost sailors, or the crew's own fear. Some claimed to hear chains dragging beneath the water, or ghostly chants calling them into the depths. Da Gama relied on stars and compass alike. The heavens became their guide, the only certainty in a world of chaos. Each calculation could save lives or doom a ship to the ocean's fury. Sometimes the sea offered eerie calm, flat waters, golden sunlight, almost unreal in their beauty. Sailors paused, some thinking the ocean was preparing a new test. Occasionally, phantom islands appeared, mist-shrouded land that vanished upon approach. Sailors argued if they were real or visions conjured by hunger and fatigue. Yet even illusions offered hope. A colossal whale breached beside the fleet, water cascading in glittering arcs. Awe replaced fear momentarily, a reminder that the ocean was home to wonders as vast as its dangers. Supplies ran dangerously low. Da Gama imposed strict rationing. Arguments flared, tempers boiled, yet discipline held the fleet together. Leadership was not just strategy, it was survival. Exhaustion brought hallucinations. Sailors reported glowing eyes beneath waves, phantom ships trailing them, voices calling from the deep. Sleep offered no reprieve, fear became a nightly companion. Dark clouds rose on the horizon. The wind shifted. Sailors sensed a storm approaching, one that could crush masts, swallow ships, and test courage to the limit. The storm hit with fury. Waves taller than masts slammed against hulls. Sailors screamed over the wind, clinging to ropes. Timber groaned. Lives depended on every skill, every command. Da Gama's voice cut through chaos, commanding with authority and calm. His courage inspired the crew, reminding them that even amid destruction, leadership could guide them through peril. After the storm, silence fell. The fleet floated among shattered waves, exhausted and battered. Sailors collapsed, some whispering prayers of thanks, others mourning the lost. Days later, birds appeared on the horizon. Seabirds signaled land, and hope surged. Sailors' spirits lifted, muscles stiffened with renewed energy, eyes scanning for the first glimpse of Africa. Finally, the familiar African coast reappeared. Familiar dangers returned, hidden shoals, shifting currents, and the ever-present Cape of Storms. The final leg demanded every ounce of skill. A final storm struck before reaching home waters. Waves hurled ships like toys. Sailors feared this might be the end, but they endured. Each man's survival depended on courage, skill, and a little fortune from the sea. After the storm, a fragile calm returned. Waves rolled gently under a golden sun. The fleet floated, weary but alive. Sailors whispered quietly, hoping that Portugal's shores were just beyond the horizon. Men reflected on their ordeal: storms, hunger, hallucinations, and fear. Every sailor carried stories of survival and courage, bound forever to the vast, unforgiving ocean. Finally, the Portuguese coastline emerged from the morning mist. Sailors' hearts leapt with joy. The familiar cliffs, the smell of land, hope and relief flooded every weary soul. Yet even near home, danger lurked. Hidden reefs and shifting tides demanded attention. The fleet's survival depended on every ounce of skill learned on the long voyage. Lisbon's harbour appeared on the horizon. Crowds of townspeople gathered, eager to see the returning fleet. Flags and banners fluttered, signalling hope and celebration. Ships reached the docks. Families and friends rushed to greet the survivors. Tears, laughter, and embraces marked the end of a voyage that had tested courage, endurance, and the human spirit. The sailors told tales of towering waves, sea monsters, phantom islands, and storms that could crush iron. Each story grew in grandeur, but every word was rooted in the truth of the unknown sea. Vasco da Gama returned a hero. Portugal celebrated his courage, but he knew the ocean had left scars on ships, crew, and his own soul. The voyage had changed him, and the world forever. How did men survive months at sea, with no knowledge of currents, storms, or distant lands? How many lives were lost to the unknown? These questions haunted da Gama and sailors alike. The fleet returned with silks, spices, and wealth beyond imagination. Lisbon rejoiced, trade expanded, and Europe's map of the world changed forever. The voyage reshaped global commerce. Beyond wealth and trade, the voyage taught lessons of courage, endurance, and leadership. Every sailor, every mast, every wave had a story etched into history. Stories of the voyage spread across Portugal and Europe. Ballads, sketches, and maps immortalized the journey. Vasco da Gama's name became legend, inspiring generations to sail into the unknown. The sea had tested every limit: human courage, skill, and spirit. It had revealed wonders and horrors alike. Those who survived carried a bond with the ocean no land could ever sever. Even after da Gama returned, The sea kept secrets. Whispers of vanished ships, unknown currents, and phantom islands remained, a reminder that the ocean holds mysteries no map can reveal. Vasco da Gama sailed into history, changing the world forever. Yet the ocean still calls. Bells rang, banners flew, and streets filled with cheering crowds. The impossible had been achieved. Europe's first direct sea route to India. Vasco da Gama was hailed a hero. Nobles, merchants, and commoners alike bowed in respect. His courage, endurance, and skill became the standard for future explorers. Sailors recounted their struggles: towering waves, terrifying storms, phantom islands, and monstrous sea creatures. Europe listened in awe, the stories inspiring fear and fascination. Da Gama's voyage reshaped global trade. Spices, silks, and riches flowed more directly to Europe. Portugal became a global power, its fleets navigating distant oceans with newfound confidence. Da Gama's journey taught lessons beyond navigation. Diplomacy, with foreign rulers, negotiation skills, and cultural awareness were as vital as courage at sea. Though celebrated, Da Gama knew the ocean still held mysteries. He planned future voyages, aware that wealth, power, and discovery demanded repeated courage against nature's fury. Men who survived the journey carried a bond forged in adversity. Shared fear, triumph, and wonder created unbreakable loyalty, uniting them with a love for the ocean and respect for its power. Europeans would speak of Da Gama and his crew for generations. Their voyage became legend, tales of courage, endurance, and human determination against the unknown. Yet, the ocean kept its secrets. Phantom islands, hidden shoals, and storms yet uncharted awaited new explorers. For every man who returned, many others remained lost to the deep. Vasco da Gama's courage inspired generations of explorers, sailors, and merchants. His story reminded the world that fortune favors the brave and that knowledge often lies beyond fear. The voyage tested humanity itself: endurance, ingenuity, leadership, and the will to survive. Every storm weathered and every mile sailed was a testament to what humans could achieve. Discovery was dangerous, exhilarating, and transformative. The Portuguese realized that courage, knowledge, and ambition could bend the world's oceans to their will. The echoes of Da Gama's voyage resonated beyond Portugal. Merchants, kings, and sailors across Europe dreamed of distant lands, spices, and glory, forever inspired by those who dared. Though Da Gama returned, the horizon always beckoned. The sea held new dangers and wonders, waiting for those brave enough to chart the unknown and leave their mark. Vasco da Gama's voyage was more than a journey. It was a story of courage, human resilience, and the unending allure of the unknown. The ocean would always whisper of adventure to those who dared to listen. The city of Lisbon buzzed with celebration. Merchants displayed silks and spices, streets echoed with music, and the story of the daring voyage spread like wildfire. Every sailor who survived was honored. Their bravery, endurance, and resilience became a testament to human courage, proving that even the vast unknown could be challenged. The voyage reshaped trade routes, connecting Europe and India directly. Spices and silks flowed faster, wealth expanded, and empires dreamed bigger. The ocean became a highway of opportunity. Leadership was tested at every turn. Da Gama showed that courage, vision, and calm decisiveness could guide men through fear, danger, and uncertainty. Though the fleet returned safely, the ocean remained untamed, holding secrets of phantom islands, uncharted reefs, and storms that no map could predict. The tale of da Gama inspired sailors, merchants, and explorers across Europe. Generations would set sail, daring to challenge the unknown, driven by courage and ambition. The voyage tested humanity itself: endurance, ingenuity, leadership, and the unbreakable human spirit. Every wave, every storm, and every challenge revealed what men could endure. Even after returning, the ocean's wonders persisted: glowing waters, whales breaching, and islands rising from mist. The world remained larger and more mysterious than any map could show. Da Gama's journey was more than trade or conquest. It was a story of courage, resilience, curiosity, and the endless pursuit of the unknown. History would remember it forever. Generations would study this voyage, learn from it, and dream of seas yet to be explored. The bravery of a few men reshaped the understanding of the world for all. The sea kept some secrets. Phantom islands, lost ships, and uncharted currents remained hidden. Even the greatest explorers returned with only part of the ocean's story. The horizon always beckoned. The ocean promised adventure, danger, and wonder. Those with courage could sail beyond fear and discover worlds unknown. Vasco da Gama proved that humanity's reach could extend beyond fear, beyond storms, and beyond the known. Curiosity, courage, and determination were the compass to the unknown. The ocean's call is eternal. For every man who dared, for every ship that sailed, the sea offered peril and promise. Its whispers speak to all who seek adventure and glory. Vasco da Gama sailed into the unknown and reshaped the world. Yet the ocean keeps its mysteries, reminding us that true adventure lies just beyond the horizon for those willing to brave it.